Welcome, everyone, to the second edition of our second season of The Nest with head football coach Todd Willert of the East Forsyth Fighting Eagles. The Nest is presented by East Coast Wings of Kernersville. East Coast Wings is located at 800 North Main Street in Kernersville, North Carolina. East Coast Wings is our title sponsor for the entire 2021 East Forsyth football spring season. We would also like to take this time to recognize our other sponsors in addition to East Coast Wings. They do include Blue Nipples Pizza, Beamer Tire and Auto, Cindy Swain of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and One Stop Food Store, where you can get all the chicken and taters that you can handle. And I'm your host, Rod Funderburk. I'm sitting here virtually with head coach Todd Willert and reigning state champion this evening. Coach, how are we doing today, my friend?
Hey, we're doing pretty good. We had a good night of practice, so everything's going good right now. Just trying to find a way to get a win this Friday.
Well, good deal. Good deal. Well, we definitely want you to get a win. And of course, as we've said numerous times, Coach, we've never seen a season like this before. COVID-19 has caused so much uncertainty, as we spoke about, not only on the football field, but of course in our everyday lives. And we didn't really have a 2020 high school football. Instead, we're starting high school football right here in February, which of course it is March now. But, the season has kicked off. And in Forsyth County, everyone kicked off on last Thursday. And you guys took on your crosstown rivals, the Glenn Bobcats, in a non-conference game to open up your season. And Thursday night, Coach, was a pretty tough opener. And it's the first loss the Eagles have suffered since winning the state championship in 2019. And I'd say probably the first opener in a decade that you guys probably have, not been able to be on the winning end of. But as I watched the first half of the game that you guys had against the Glenn Bobcats, I did see two teams that seemed to mirror one another for a minute there. There were two solid defenses, Coach, that seemed pretty comfortable. And I also saw two offenses that were really trying to find their identities. Both defenses forced turnovers. But, Coach, can you describe maybe what the difference was in just the first that allowed Glenn to go into halftime with a score of 6-0 over the Eagles?
Yeah, I think your analogies are spot on. Obviously, the defenses were ahead of the offenses, no doubt about it. The biggest thing is Glenn's just got unbelievable speed. I mean, their defense is so fast. But once again, we had 6 turnovers. We had 5 on offense and then 1 on the special teams on the long snap. And you can't beat a good team like Glenn when you have those many turnovers. We had 3 turnovers inside the red zone. 2 of them were on first down and 2 from the goal, and we fumbled. And then first down and goal from the 8, we fumble. And then they held us at one time on fourth down in the red zone. So, we're just young. We're really young on offense. That's the big thing. And we just got to overcome some of these mistakes, and we got to have some people step up and make plays.
Yes, sir, Coach. And you said it, the Eagles are a young team. As a matter of fact, as I was looking at the roster, it looked to be about 80% of the starters were sophomores or juniors. And, so we can expect some growing pains. Am I right on that statistic, or is it a little bit higher than that 80%?
Well, it's pretty close. So we kind of going into Glenn, we tried to hide everything we weren't going to have, going into that first game. Obviously, everything, the cat's out of the bag now, but, right now we have 17 guys who are not on our roster that we thought were going to be on the roster. And of those 17, 11 of them would have been starters. The other 6 would have been in the 2 deep. So, we are young. Our offense right now is our JV team. I mean, Jalen Raynor would have been our JV quarterback this year. All the receivers are JV guys. And we had a couple of line guys that are JV guys, but nobody cares about that. COVID's crazy. And you know what? The Eagles don't care about that. We're going to get better. We sat out and had a great practice today, and we sat out there and we're watching. And the great thing is we're going to continue to get better. And the good thing is we know we got most of these guys back for next season once we get back to normal a little bit.
Yes, sir. That's right, and that's a good thing. And of course, as you were saying, this is a completely different personnel group from the 2019 championship team. But I would like to keep talking about defense a little bit more. And although they gave up 18 points in Thursday's loss, there's still a couple of bright spots I saw and that I would like to mention. The number one bright spot on defense, in my opinion, came from just a couple of players. And maybe I'll even throw in a third one there. But your number 8, Isaiah Crowell, number 44, Tyler Clenard, and even your young sophomore, number 5, RJ Brown at the linebacker spot. I saw some pretty good things from those guys. And I'd like to kind of Isaiah Crowell. This kid seemed to have a ruse for the ball all Thursday night. I mean, he was all over the field. A few times he looked like a strong safety. Playing run support for that defense back there. And there was no quit in Isaiah Crowell. Talk to us about the type of player and leader that you expect Isaiah to continue to grow into.
Oh, yeah, Isaiah, once again, you guys are spot on. I told you last week it was going to be challenging. There was going to be a lot of new names for you guys to learn. But you guys are spot on. Those 3 guys really played well. But Isaiah is one of our leaders. He's more of our vocal leader. He's out there. He's ready to hit and play. And obviously he's got numerous Division I offers. But at the end of the day, he's a great kid. He comes from a great family. Mike, obviously, his older brother who enrolled early to go to NC State this year. But Isaiah is going to lead our defense. And our defense did great. In all reality, I'm sure Coach Beal's listening. He wants to make sure you guys understand they only gave up 12 points. He'll make sure you guys understand that because we fumbled in the end zone. Our offense did. So Coach Beal will be quick to, those defensive guys take that personally if you add points into their.
That's true.
But, and then 6 more points came off that bad snap on the special teams.
Right.
On that punch. So, our defense play, it was a bright spot. And we knew we were going to have to lean on our defense, but we're young on defense. We're blessed. Tyler Clenard came back. I think you played with his dad on the state championship.
Yeah, Allen. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. That's his dad.
One. Yep, it would be Allen. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
So Tyler came back. He was on our state championship team as a sophomore. As a junior, he did not play. And he came back out this year, and he's playing lacrosse and football at the same time. And he did great for us. So glad to have Tyler back. And Allen's even got a younger boy, freshman, who looks really good. That's going to play football too. So it's good to see those Eagle roots keep growing.
Oh, it is definitely good to see that. One of the things that kind of stuck out with me about Tyler was that I didn't really see him lose containment out there. And you talked about the speed of Glenn. And that's something that I look for in those defensive ends when they're playing. If you lose containment, I tell you, Coach, you're a better man than me if you leave him on the field. The defensive end who loses containment, he'll hurt your team. No and doubt. He just looked good at that. Yes, sir.
And that's the whole position you used to play, right? You were a DN tight end back in the days, right?
That's right. Yes, that is correct. Yes, sir.
He did good. I thought RJ Brown too, being a sophomore linebacker. We're young at linebackers. RJ and Jules Taylor. Jules is a junior and RJ's a sophomore, and the Joins kid playing defensive back. He's new. So, I mean, we're really young, but once again, nobody cares to hear about that from the back-to-back state champions and the winning we've been doing right now. People are thinking they're going to get some payback, so we gotta get back on the right track and get going.
Well, Coach, I believe you guys are going to definitely get back in the right track, and I'm glad you mentioned RJ Brown because he did seem to have it as well, and I think he'll wind up being a pretty important piece of that defense, especially at that middle linebacker spot if he continues to play in that position. And he has some growing to do and realize that Friday night is a different kind of shine night. And so I'm kind of excited about the defense. And you're right. Really, the defense, didn't give up, a great deal of points at all. So I thought the defense played very, very well. And so that's always something to look forward to when you've got that bright spot there. But overall, how do you feel about just the defense in general, just from what you've seen in that first game?
A lot of good things. I mean, I think Glenn torched us for like 340 throwing the ball last year. They only threw for like 44 yards. They had a couple big runs on us. The one was a great run, this outside zone, well blocked, well executed. And then their biggest play, I think, was that 65-yard run on that reverse. I don't know if you guys remember
Yeah, it was
that.
a reverse.
And and we actually had them tackled about 10, 15 yards deep, and our guys actually ran into each other, and he busted the tackle, and that was their biggest play. So, I mean, I'm very pleased with the defense. But we're going to have to get better and be right, because I can tell you what, the Grimsley offense is pretty special too that we're about to face on Friday.
Yes, sir. They are. They really are. And I'm gonna stay in the first half a little bit. And of course, the offense struggled a little bit, like we said. And I do like the fact that is it Jamon Smith or Jamon?
Yep.
How do you say his name?
Jamon Smith.
Okay. Jamon Smith. Yep. He kept his feet turning at first contact, and that's something that I like to see in a run. He was not easy to bring down, and but I'm gonna tell you this: he does need to do a little bit better job in protecting that ball, Coach. I saw it strip time, and there was not a lot of contact. It was just like the defender reached in and just kind of stripped it out of there. So, I tell him I want him to work on that for sure. But other than that,
yeah, I mean, we told Jemai he is one of the hardest working guys, but obviously he's coming up from the JV level from last year. He played a little bit at the end of the year last year, but played as a corner for us in the state championship game and in the Grimsley game last year in the playoffs. I said it's different here on the varsity level. These boys around here, it's a little different from Thursday night to Friday night, and the way you carry that ball, it ain't going to work. You're going, and we tried to correct it in practice. I'm getting on them. And sometimes you got to live through the growing pains to really see that maybe what you're getting coached is going to happen. And but you know what? He learned from it. He's ready to get better, and he's one of our leaders out there this week and pumping the guys up. And he's going to be better. Once again, he's a young junior playing, and Traylon got hurt early in the second quarter, so everything kind of fell on his shoulders. So I'm proud of how he did the whole game.
Yeah, overall, I think he had a really good game, and I think before it's all said and done, he's going to be one of the great running backs that Forsyth always produces each year, in and out, in and out. Now let's hit the QB, Jalen Raynor. Now, I know he was trying to get settled into that first half. And of course, I can tell, Coach, he's an athlete, man. Whenever he had to break outside the pocket, you can see the agility that this young kid has. And I believe that he has what it takes to really lead and execute plays. And I believe he'll be a great leader at Eagle offense. What do you see that Jalen needs to do in order to be able to put everything together?
Yeah, I mean, he just had to get that first game underneath his belt. Once again, he's coming from Thursday night. Coming into this season, he thought he was going to be the JV quarterback again and backup Ty. So everything kind of got thrown at him, and you just can't teach the speed from Friday night to Thursday night until you actually play it. And being at a quarterback position, it's amplified 10 times, and he missed some throws, but he made some plays.
He did.
He showed you guys how tough he was, but I don't need him to show me that because I already know. So he needs to get down a couple times.
Right.
Some of those runs he's throwing out his shoulder, he's throwing his shoulder down, trying to get those extra yards. But you're right, Rod. He's going to be a special player. I mean, as a sophomore, 3 years, hopefully he'll be leading the Eagles to a lot of victories.
I think he will. I think he definitely will. And of course, at halftime, score 6-0. And Desmond and I, we're talking to each other, we're saying, hey, I wish I could be a fly on somebody's shoulder pads and hear exactly what Coach has to allow for this Eagles first half performance. Coach, is there anything that you are able to share with us on the airways about your halftime speech on Thursday?
Yeah. You guys would honestly, you'd be surprised. I don't say a lot. When I say a little bit when we do our pregame warm up, even before we get on the field, but I'm not a big guy in the locker room before games or on the field. I'm not in the middle of the huddles jacking guys up. My assistant coaches do that. And at halftime, I might say some stuff to my coaches, but honestly, I let my coaches coach, and they make the stuff, and I'll say a little something before we get out there. Obviously, it was a little different this year because we had young guys, and you can't just break them down and go totally Coach Willert on them. I gotta, these are younger guys, and gotta be a little more encouragement. And Ron Horton, our OC, kind of said, "Hey, Coach, understand these guys are young, and we gotta find the positive stuff." And which we did. And it was 6-0. We came out and we drove the ball again down the field, and we had 2 or 3 chances to take the lead and go 7-6, and we just didn't capitalize. And it was because we turned the ball over. So, I mean, there's a lot of positive. We got a long ways to go. There's no doubt about it. Jacob Fletcher, our center, got hurt on a cheap shot. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was pretty bad on film. And he was out, but he should be back this week. So it hurt to lose Trey and Jacob. Both of them were our captains, so it's hard to lose those guys. But we're excited to get back at it. And so far, we've had 2 good days of practice, and we're just going to continue to get better.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, Coach, I know you get off this game time, but there's, just a couple more questions about the game. And you had mentioned, the turnovers. I know it. You had mentioned the turnovers and how tough it is to win a ball game when you got turnovers. Do you think there was one certain turnover that may cause the game to change or swing things in the way of Glenn's direction? And the reason I say that, Coach, is we've seen you guys turn the ball over before. And it's like, so what? We turn the ball over. We're going, we come right back down. But was there a point or a turnover that you think was more significant than any other?
I think there was two changing times, and one was the one where it was 1st and goal on the 1. I think it was still in the first half, and we had been moving the ball, and we're going, and you could just feel the momentum switching for us, and we needed to score. And I think the biggest difference from this year to past years is, some of these guys still don't believe, and they don't know how to win yet. The past teams, we knew how to win, and we had those older guys, and they knew what they had to do. I think if we would have punched it in that first time and went up 7-6, I think it would have been a whole different game. And then we went down there again, and I think they held us in 4 downs. We got hammered on a 3rd down and like 2nd or 3, and then we didn't make it on the 4th. I think that series, if we could have scored, we just had, and once again, we came out at halftime and had a chance to score. So there was 3 times we had a chance to take the lead. And if we could have just got the lead, I think you would have seen our guys relax a little bit more. And we could just never get over that hump. And then those turnovers just kept killing us. And but that's good. You learn from that. We're going to go up, and the kids are ready. That, like I said, we've had a couple good days of practice, and we're going to get better.
Definitely. I know you will, Coach. Of course, it's a team sport, and you guys have, 2 back-to-back titles. That comes with a lot of pressure, especially with these young guys, who are still trying to learn how to win and how to play on Friday nights. And, of course, everyone is coming to Forsyth with their best shot, because they know, to them, beating the reigning champs, that's going to make their whole season. But how do you make sure that these players keep their heads up, not dwell on Thursday night's mishap, and understand it's just one game, one loss. Everybody's going to be gunning for us, and we've still got a lot of football left. What does that conversation sound like?
Yeah, I think we went over that every Monday. We have a team meeting before practice, and we went through those things. And it's important the assistant coaches keep pounding it, as myself and our team leaders. And like you said, the big difference is we usually have these older guys that are ready to go, and they go. The great thing at East, year after year, we're so good in JV, and those JV guys learn from these varsity guys. Well, these JV guys were cheated out of that opportunity this fall. And, you know, it's about learning our culture of our football program at East. And these guys are kind of having to learn it on their own without being taught it from the older guys. And I think that's a big difference. But, you know, once again, this is going to make us stronger. It's going to make us better. Sometimes losing can tell you a lot about yourself, a lot more about yourself than winning. And, but you know what? I at the end of the day, crazy. So many people were calling, "You okay, coach? You all right?" You know, I don't know what they thought I was going to jump off a bridge or something, maybe. But you know, I'm fine. I mean, after you watch the film, it's like everything. It's usually not as good as you think it is, and then it's usually not as bad as you think it is. And you know, I saw you guys at halftime, and then after the game, and you know, I was going to say something, but I didn't want to get on the air some of the choice words I was going to say. I said, well, let me just go watch the film. And it really wasn't as bad as I thought. You know, we just can't make those mistakes, and we're going to get better. And as we get healthy, you know, we're going to be all right. The more game experiences, it's going to help. So I'm excited for this team. We got great kids, and I'm excited for the future.
Good deal, Coach. And one last question concerning the game. As you know, hindsight is 2020. Is there anything that you would have done differently in that game against Glenn, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, I'm the punt team guy. I run the punt team, special teams. I thought our special teams were good. We split them up between three coaches, Coach Yoder, Coach Stu, and myself. And I'm in control of the punt team, and I did a terrible job, to be honest. I don't think I had our punt team ready to go, and obviously it showed. To me, the punt team, the reason I do it is I really believe it's probably the most important offensive play, because at one time you can gain 40 to 50 yards in one play with a good punt, and we're usually really good at it. And I didn't do a good job of preparing these young guys, so that's on me. So hindsight 2020, I would have did a lot more and a lot better preparing our punt team. And I know a lot of people would think that's crazy, but you gain a lot of yards punting a football. And I learned that as a defensive coordinator. You know, a lot of offensive guys, they don't really care about the punt, because if it's not very good, they still think it's the defense's job to stop the other offense. Now that I'm on offense, I really realize how important the punt play is, and might be one of the most important offensive plays. And we didn't do a good job on it, and that's my fault. That's a special team unit I run. So we dedicated a lot of time today, about 12-minute period just on punt team today. So we're going to be better on that.
Okay, good deal, Coach. Well, I thought what you may have felt that you didn't like your punt team, but I mean, there were a couple of punts, you know, when they came out and the special they came out and punted, they did really well. I know there was one. I want to say Andrew Conrad may have been kicking from the end zone. Coach, it looked like he hit about a 60-yarder.
He did. He hit a boomer, and punt. And it's my fault once again as a head coach. I needed to choose. We went in with three guys, as you saw. All three guys punted, and it's not fair to those kids. I need to name a true starter so they kind of know. I think I put too much pressure. We're used to putting pressure on kids, but we're not. With this younger group, I have to realize I can't do that. And so we've named our starting punter, and this Andrew's going to be starting our punter and going. He's a heck of an athlete now. I wish Andrew was a little bit bigger, man. I'm telling you what, that dude, he dunks a basketball. It's unbelievable what Andrew can do, man. It's, you know, he's not very big. You've seen him without his pads. And I wish we could kick the ball off more, because he can bomb them to the end zone now. But we'll get to that point. But he was a big bright spot for us. Andrew, he's a grinder. And once again, he's only a junior. So we're so young. But once again, all that falls on me.
Well, Coach, you know, don't let it weigh heavy on your shoulders, man. And although we came up short on Thursday night, I am still proud of the Eagles. I'm still proud of what I saw. I look forward to you guys' action, especially this coming Friday night as you welcome in the Grimsley Whirlies to the Eagles' nest. But before we get into that, I'd like to just say out there, for those of you who are just tuning in, you are listening to The Nest with head football coach Todd Willert of the two-time defending state champion East Fighting Eagles football team. I'd also like to take a minute to just recognize a few of our sponsors, which they include our main sponsor, East Coast Wings of Kernersville. They are our title sponsor for our entire 2021 East Forsyth football spring season. Other sponsors include Naples, Beamer Tire and Auto, Cindy Swain of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and of course, One Stop Food Store, where you can get all the chicken and taters that you can handle. Coach, I want to talk a little bit about this upcoming matchup this Friday. You and the Eagles will be taking on the Grimsley Whirlies. They're 1-0, and they're led by head coach Daryl Brown. And of course, that game will be played at the Eagles Nest on this Friday, March 5th, and kickoff time is going to be at 7 p.m. You and Coach Brown, you guys have had some nail biters these last couple of years, man. You guys have been the difference of getting to the playoffs, home field advantage in the playoffs, and who gets momentum rolling into the playoffs. Talk to us a little bit about the competition that you're likely to see from Coach Brown and his Whirlies.
Yeah, Coach Brown does a great job. He's a great head coach, but he's a great person. Obviously, Daryl and I have gotten to know each other a lot better since he came from Southern Guilford to Grimsley. But what a great person he is. Great family. I really like Daryl, but he works hard, man. He's a grinder, and that's why he turned it around at Grimsley so fast. I mean, what a great guy. But yeah, we've had some nail biters. Obviously, last year, 2 times we went to their place and came away with 1-point victory, and obviously the one to send us to the state. Exact same score, 21-20, and basically it came down to extra points both times at the end of the game. Both had onside kicks at the end of the game. I mean, it's exact same game basically, and but it's going to be another battle. They're really good. They returned a lot of guys. They got a lot of guys that have moved in or transferred into Grimsley, so they got a lot of new faces. They graduated some guys, but they got some new transfers in. They got the quarterback from Page. They got a wide receiver from Southwest Guilford. So they got some guys that have moved in that are difference makers. But, our defense is going to have to step up, and it's going to be a epic battle. Obviously, the big thing at East, we got a huge schedule. Our non-conference, a lot of people try to play lesser teams. Our non-conference, we're playing Glenn, who's rated in the top 12, Grimsley's in the top 10, and then we got West Forsyth, who somehow I think Coach Snow sandbags all these people all the time. Sometimes he's always ranked like 15th when he should be a lot higher, but that's a whole nother story with Coach Snow. But it's going to be a battle. They got a lot of players back from last year's team, and no doubt they got a lot of revenge on their mind.
That they do, and they get to travel this time up to Kernersville to the Nest. And Coach, do you know what type of crowd that we'll be able to have this go round since the governor has this last ban? Are we going to be able to have some significant numbers, or is that kind of still in the air?
Can you repeat that again? We got cut off.
Oh, I'm sorry, Coach. Well, the Grimsley Whirlies, they're going to have to come up and visit the East Forsyth Eagles up at the Nest this year or this week. And coming up, do you know what type of crowd that the Eagles will be able to have since the governor has lifted this last ban? I mean, is this one going to be more of where it's still going to have to be just the home crowd, or is there going to be able to be Whirly fans? Have you gotten a clear response on that yet? Coach, are you there? Coach, you still with me? All right, I think we have lost Coach, but hopefully he'll be back in just a second. As you know, we have a big matchup that's going to happen in Kernersville this coming week. It's going to be the East Forsyth Eagles taking on the Grimsley Whirlies this Friday, March 5th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, I think we lost Coach. I'm not sure if he's gonna log back in or not. He might be ducking that crowd question, so we'll see if he logs back in. Listening to you guys go over the game, I thought, because I felt a certain way when we left, Glenn, on Thursday night. I was like, oh man, we got a long way to go. But then I had the whole weekend to think about it. And I was like, you know what? He's right. They only gave up 12 points on offense, really. And they didn't really let Glenn do anything on defense except for those 2 runs. So it wasn't as gloom and doom as it may have
it
felt
wasn't as
like at the
bad.
end of the night
But
Thursday.
yeah, what was crazy though was that coach said they have 17 players that they expected to be on the roster and that are not. And out of those 17 players, 11 would have been starters. So I mean, is that a grade problem?
I don't think so. I think they were so senior heavy coming into this year. We've covered this team the past 2 years, and we've watched a lot of those kids back in 2018 that won the whole thing. They were sophomores. Like that was the crazy part to
No,
us.
but
The team went 15-0.
I took it as there are kids who were. So you took it as the kids he's talking about were kids who graduated.
Yeah, because remember he might not have said it in the show, but he had told me that they had 6 kids that left for Division One. They had offers, and they were able to leave early because there was no way of knowing if they're going to play the season this year. And then he said they also had some seniors that elected to go ahead and leave
needed
early.
to get jobs.
Yeah, because they needed to get jobs or they wanted to work, help their families or whatnot because of COVID. So
That's right.
they
He did say
didn't
that.
have offers. Yeah, they just didn't feel like sticking around to play the season, and they weren't sure if they were going to have it. So a lot of it came down to that too. So I think that's what it.
Gotcha.
Hold on, wait a minute. I think Coach is back. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Here we go, and I'm going to drop back off. You can go ahead and finish up with your question. You guys can close out.
Hey, Coach, you back?
Yeah, man. Sorry, the neighbors are upset that I lost some games, so they went out and cut off my internet.
Well, Coach, I'm glad to hear that part. I was starting to begin to think that you didn't like me anymore. I said, well, Coach, I got to ask you these questions.
The neighbors, they got their pitchforks out there and putting moving signs in my yard right now, and they hit one of the cable wires, I think.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, tell the neighbors to calm down. Everything's going to be okay, Coach. Well, Coach, I'm going to jump back in. Man, my question was dealing around the crowds this coming Friday. The Governor Roy Cooper, he has lifted the ban, this latest ban as of this past Friday. So my question was, do you think that we will be able to see more fans due to this ban lift this coming Friday to support schools? Or is it possibly still going to be, kind of a naked stadium?
No, Coach Plaster has got that all put together. I think we can have around 750 to 780 people in our stadium. So we'll be a bigger crowd. So that will be exciting for the kids. So it won't be so quiet. And, it will be wonderful to have that atmosphere at the Nest.
Definitely. Well, I can't wait for it for sure. Before we wrap things up, Coach, there are 2 subjects that I'd like just to touch on real quick. The first one, I don't know if you've been keeping up with, is NFL offseason news. I don't know if you've heard Texans QB, Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson, the quarterback, has been in the news for a while wanting a trade. And, he doesn't really like the organization. But also former Texan J.J. Watt, probably one of the best defensive linemen that we've seen in a while, has just gone to the Arizona Cardinals. And these 2 guys are arguably the best 2 players that the Texans had last year. And J.J. is now an Arizona Cardinal. Deshaun Watson, the quarterback, wants to be out. Coach, what are your thoughts on what would make 2 of the best players in a franchise like this want to run for the exit door? What are your thoughts on that?
I really don't know what happened down there. I know towards the end with Bill O'Brien as the head coach there, things got a little rough. Obviously, I'm sure Watson was a little upset when they traded who was the wide receiver? They traded him to Arizona, the real good wide receiver.
I know exactly who you're talking about right now, but I'm looking at him. He has a dreadlocks. I know exactly
Yeah,
who
the
you're talking
long
about.
dreads. Yeah, he was a great player
Hmm.
and obviously one of the best. You know, everybody knows him right now because I try to pick him every year in my fantasy football league. I can't believe I can't think of his name. I didn't know JJ was going there. I was kind of hoping he was going to come to my Packers. So I'm kind of disappointed in that. But, you know, obviously sometimes you got to start over fresh, and that's what the Texans probably got to do. They got a new head coach there and just start over fresh. So it might be better for the Texans anyway.
Definitely. Well, thank you on those thoughts, Coach. And then the second thing is this. We learned last week that you enjoy Doritos and a little soda pop after a football game because you usually don't eat before a game. And of course, you got to munch on something afterwards. Now, Coach, me personally, I have a sweet tooth, man. I love sweet. So I have to know, what is your favorite dessert or sweet snack, or tell me both?
Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to let you guys in a secret. So I broke my pack, and Drew Wicker, he's our new football coach for us. He's our linebacker coach. I ate the pregame meal this last Thursday because it was One Stop Chicken, and I can't stay away from One Stop Chicken. Okay.
I'm with you.
So Drew Wicker said I will never eat again pregame. He made that clear. First year coach for me. He played for me way back in the days when I first got here. But as a sweet tooth, I tell you what, I will crush some chocolate chip cookies with some ice cold milk. I will kill that. Love eating that, and then I love cheesecake, man. I could eat a whole cheesecake by myself.
Uh-oh. Coach,
And
don't you
my
say
mother-in-law
cheesecake.
makes some great dirt cake. If you ever had that or whatever it's called, dirt cake, you know, at the
I've never had dirt cake. What's in the dirt
man,
cake?
I don't know. She puts some kind of cream on the inside and crushes Oreos on the top and puts gummy worms on there. And that dirt cake's unbelievable. Also, I trust me. If you see me, I don't miss many sweets, so I'll eat just about anything, man.
Well, Coach, you mentioned you like cheesecake. Cheesecake is one of my favorites. And I have a friend who bakes cheesecakes and sells them to different restaurants. And I'm going to have to make sure that before this season is over with, that you get a cheesecake baked, and we're going to have a strawberry topping put on it just for you, Coach. Since you said cheesecake, that is coming. All right.
I love the strawberries. I like that better than the cherries. So the strawberry, oh man, okay. Can we have it next week, man?
Coach, we will have it before the season is over with. That I guarantee you, my friend. That is awesome. I'm glad you said that about cheesecake. Well, Coach, you know, that is going to do it for our time here on the Nest. I want to thank you for being here. I want to say good luck to you and the Eagles this upcoming Friday, take on the Green Whirlies. And of course, we look forward to seeing every next week for another edition of the Nest with head football coach Todd Willert of the East Forsyth Fighting Eagles. Hopefully, if everything works out great, then we'll be able to do this live over at the East Coast Wings in Kernersville, North Carolina. So hopefully everyone just be paying attention, looking forward to that. And of course, I'm your host, Hot Rod Funderburk. I want to thank everyone for listening this evening, and I hope you all have a wonderful 2021 spring football season.